Recording's paused. Oh, now we're live. This meeting will be continued to be recorded. I love that Zoom is looking out for me, Matt. I got to give the authentication that I can be recorded.
And you can be hosted on their servers for infinity.
Absolutely.
And beyond.
It's a Friday. Everybody's working for the weekend, Matt.
Lover boy.
Great jam. Great jam. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You know, I need to find the
I'm feeling good. I forgot to tell you, after you left last night, Rudy had a little bladder problem inside the house, and I've never had that happen with him. So
come on.
Well, if you'll recall, he also. Anyways, you remember.
He also what? I don't remember. Let me share, because let's talk about last night just for a second. Let me share first, and then you get to share. It's like kindergarten here. We share. Matt Davio's reverse sear. His game is getting strong. The filet reverse sear, the charred veggies, threw the pepperoncinis in there because I love pepperoncinis. I'm trying to pee ketones. I'm trying to stay with that. You know, I want to start a grunge rock metal band called Piss and Ketones. I think that's a great name for it.
I like that. Piss and Ketones.
Piss and Ketones. Coming to a neighborhood establishment. Coming to a garage first, right? You got to start in the garage.
That's right.
All right, man. Great hockey game last night. Why don't you share a little bit of the excitement? Because the vantage point, well, I'll let the vantage point speak for itself. All you people in Montreal, check this out.
Well, it was a great game. You know, it was game 7 or it was game 6, and it was at home for the Knights, who are my favorite West Coast team. And I'm obviously rooting them in. Look at that crowd.
We're seeing something else. We're seeing the plate and the world's most successful real estate investor. We're not seeing the was it on Instagram?
Hang on.
There it is. Look at the fans going bananas. Packed house.
The men acting like boys, dude. It was off the hook.
You know, and my thought was, there's no chance everybody in that arena took the jab. So possibly we've reached herd immunity.
Right.
Canada. Oh, you know, I do love the Canadian national anthem, man. I do love it. Brings tears to my eyes every time, you know, and I love that about hockey, that you get the Canadian teams in and they play the Canadian anthem and the USA Star Spangled Banner. And I just wanted to touch on that anthem in Long Island the other night. Man, and I went to, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of hockey games in Chicago. And, you know, that Blackhawk anthem with the crowd cheering the entire anthem is something to behold.
Yeah.
I want to just say to Mark Cuban, like, that is a memory, like that emotion. And, you know, I'm stuck on this thing that pride is a deadly sin, right? Is still one of the 7 deadly sins. But the gratitude that you feel and the emotion that you feel in that arena it's something to behold. It's like,
I said to you last night, like when I saw that replay of, you know, in the opening of the Islanders game, dude, tears. I was humbled beyond belief. And the singer was humbled. She couldn't even sing. That's why she let the crowd sing, because it choked her up. I mean, how can you not see that and feel that, as you said, that reverence, that emotion, that love, gratefulness? It's not a pride thing. I'm not an Islanders fan. I'm not a Bruins fan. I could care less. But I'm I'm an American, and I'm a patriot, and that stuff was phenomenal.
It's for everybody. I mean,
for everybody.
You know,
everybody. You know, and that you want to talk about uniting the country. Sports, music, those events, when we're all in that energy together, cannot be duplicated by fucking critical race bullshit. I'm sorry.
Matt, and we go back to trust, and we're going to just revisit this for a second before we get to price discovery. We shared this yesterday. 9 out of the 10 FDA experts on their panel said, don't give the green light on this thing. And then we look, you shared, and you had said that you had thought this. Come on. There it is. First new Alzheimer's drug in decades. Oh, it's only going to cost 56G. Do you get a Tesla with that? It's my question. Can I pay for it in Bitcoin? The new Alzheimer's drug. I can't remember my private key, but can I pay for it anyway? It's unbelievable. That price tag is unbelievable. And who pays? The insurance company pays for it, but we all end up paying for it.
That's right.
And if it doesn't, if it's not effective, like 9 out of the 10 experts are, I don't know, it just blows me away. Yeah. And you wonder why I'm cynical, and I question.
Well, and then you brought up an issue, when we were talking about the Vegas game last night. You were talking about, again, the fact that all those people aren't vaccinated and herd immunity, and then bring up that little headline this morning from the cruise industry, and I don't know whose boat this was, but one of the cruise companies had an all vaccinated guest list on their cruise.
Everybody on the cruise was vaccinated.
Everybody on the cruise was vaccinated, and guess what? It broke out. It broke out. Everybody's got COVID. Oh,
there was some COVID tests on the cruise.
Yeah,
of everybody.
So, but talk about what you were talking about, herd immunity.
So the pitch that they're pitching to get all these jabs sold and into arms is that you need 70% of the population vaccinated to get to herd immunity, which is fairly counterintuitive when you understand that a ton of people have had it, have been exposed to it, have antibodies, and so you don't need nearly that many.
Right.
Not only that, the early stuff that we talked about, early on, is that it's not a novel coronavirus, right? We've had SARS and MERS, and so there's lots of people that have T-cell immunity already.
Yes.
And the stuff coming out of Sweden again now is like, you know what? They were right. They were right. They didn't effectively protect their elderly as much as they, wanted to now when they look at it in hindsight. But there's a lot of herd immunity that doesn't need there's a lot of science that says you don't need 70% of the country vaccinated in order to get there. Right. And it's just my observation that, you look at that full arena and there's no way 70% of those people are vaccinated.
No, and I'm sure just by the statistics, 1,000 or two were active COVID carriers inside there. Whatever,
Man, we got to get to price discovery. Actually, you know what? Why don't you jump into one of the cruise lines? Because, DeSantis sued and they're all saying, all right.
Yep.
And they're going to bring the industry back faster than maybe some want.
Yeah, let me bring up Norwegian, and I'll bring up Carnival just for shits and giggles. Norwegian sold off this week, 33 down to 31, peaked at $34. Let's just look at the bigger picture, kind of where it's come from since the bottom, since the low, and it's had a huge run. But again, it sure hasn't recovered from where it was before, which was up here at $60. So it's only half back, which tells me, again, just like it's really kind of the same. Like at someday this thing will be squeezed, but the business won't represent the realistic. Right now, we're just like from AMC to GameStop's not in the same category, but we're basing our pricing predictions on futures, right? That we're going to get back to normal. And I think this will take probably 5 to 10 years. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I really don't have any desire to cruise to begin with, because I don't want to be locked on a boat and at sea. It just doesn't sound fun to me. But I'd rather go to the places the boat stops and spend a week there myself. So that's kind of my take on it. But again, you're not going to get people like me for sure. They're not going to go back. I don't want to cruise any more than I did before. And the people that loved it, probably, there's probably a lot of those. There are a lot of Karens, that like being locked on a boat and floating out at sea. I don't like that, but those people probably are going to be tentative coming back. So I just don't buy, again, the hype that, this thing, should be fully recovered. And thankfully it hasn't. Carnival, same thing here. It has really done the same kind of look. It was trading as high as $52 and it's sitting right here at 30. Got as high recently. The new high was around 31. So these have had huge runs. And remember, this thing in the depths was down here at $8. So it's a four bagger. It's not a four bagger here in about a year and a half. But again, slow and steady, bullish charts. But again, I wouldn't, unless the Reddit bros get a hold of these, I don't see them squeezing to the moon, but that's probably what will happen over time. And by the way, it's $33 billion company, Carnival and Norwegian, if you're wondering on their market cap, because I think it's always important just to kind of talk, what's going on in the market cap. So Norwegian's about a 33 million. Let me try to pull up, Carnival is 33 million. I'm not sure. I don't play with these every day, so I don't know how big Norwegian is, but let's take a look. It is 12 billion, so much smaller than the larger Carnival, which is what I expected.
33 billion on Carnival.
Yep, 33 on Carnival with a B, big boys. Yep, that's it.
All right, man. Let's talk nuance because our fearless leader said that for the military industrial climate complex. Holy shit, did I have a moment there? For the military industrial complex, climate change is the biggest threat. And the top Pentagon officer, Mark Miley, says Russia and China still are our biggest threat. You know, there's way more money fighting Russia and China. You actually need hardware. Right. The military industrial complex, definitely complex. Oh man, I'm off the rails here and we're live. Man, I saw this, but then I saw this other headline, an article, and let me share because we're going to jump into some stocks that we have not covered before. And that's solar. And before we go there, let's just take a little look at the World Surf League and this perfect wave, Matt. Tubular, and I think that's a man-made wave, Matt. There's one stop on the tour that has the man-made wave.
And where are they?
It's in the middle of California, 100 miles away from the ocean in California. I'm not sure. I don't know. I got distracted. I apologize. Let me get to the article about solar. All right, stop it, World Surf League. Stop it. Holy shit. I am struggling today, man. I got the road blues on.
Hold on, Bob. Bob, hold on. Before you go, let me bring it in. There's a new song out today by Lorde, who hasn't had a new song in 4 years. She's coming with this new song called Solar Power. I've listened to it a couple times already this morning. Pretty cool, high production value video, and a lot of girls dancing around, and there she is.
Oh, I love the beach. The beach breakfast, beach lunch, beach dinner. Nothing beats a beach meal.
And if you notice, they're playing chess there on the water that she just walked away from. She made a couple of moves.
Currently involved in a highly mathematical equation on my chessboard.
And the song is called Solar Power, Bob.
Solar Power. All right, let's talk solar power. Just to be clear, a full array of solar on the roof here in Bend, Oregon, one of the great places for solar collection. But this was the headline. This is how these trades evolve, right? You see one headline, then you see another headline. Anyway, built solar assets are chronically underperforming and modules degrading faster than expected. Excuse me, research finds. Now, I seen this and I immediately thought, wow, we should check out the solar stocks, right? Because they're probably getting pounded on this information, right? But the information is already baked into the market. Apparently, everybody else had this before I did. Let me jump just to one because a lot of them look the same. This is SOL Renesola, and this is more of the builders of these giant solar farms. From what I gleaned anyway, and it's already been schmeezed. Like it got the run after the election and into the green presidency of Joe Biden. Anyway, so is this news, this worse news, going to do more than has already been done to this marketplace? Because, I mean, all of them look kind of the same. This is FSLR, and these are weeklies. SPWR, schmeezed again. CISQ, Sun W, schmeezed again. One schmeezing after another. I don't know. I actually think the headline is negative, but the charts look like they put in a bottom, and I wouldn't mind being involved if I was a stock trader. I'm not. You are.
Well,
tell me what you think.
Here's my thoughts. The industry, they got a couple problems, in my opinion. Everything is made in China. 99% of the panels and the pieces are made in China. That, the quality isn't there, and Obama really effed that up because he allowed that to happen, and everything's been shipped again to the Chinese. So quality product is not there. Of course, this peaked as Joe took office, right? This is all I see here, and it took off before in December. So we've done a full left-right parabola. All right, and all these stocks. This is SunPower we're looking at, which is a decent sized one. I'm gonna go through the ones you did, but you're gonna see, and I'm just looking at the daily charts. I don't want to buy any of these until they get back down here, because they will go back down there. I've seen, these cycles, whether it's the fuel cell side of things and electric batteries. It's the same shit. It's like we get this pumped up. This stuff isn't going to play out. We're not going to be all solar. We're not going to be all electric card up for at least a decade. And that would be if we decided as a composite culture around the world. And I just don't see this happening. It's just too expensive. It's prohibitive, shoddy product coming from China. Well,
I mean, I think that what the article...
A lot of things have to, be straightened out before that's going to, play out. And if you look at, I'll give you I think First Solar is probably the largest. That, by the way, SunPower is about a $4.5 billion market cap. First Solar is about an $8.5 billion. And again, you see the same thing. We had this parabolic move take off a little earlier, this is the low back here. And again, the bottom of the market. And that went from 30 to 112, so a four bagger. And now we've kind of bottomed at 66, trading at 80, but this looks heavy. It looks like it's going to trade back to 53. So if you want to buy the leader of the industry, wait for, $55, and it's at 80 right now. We're just getting back into value, and we're on the right side of this parabola. Sellers are in control. Nothing's going to change this for any time in the short being. I mean, Biden's in there. He's messing shit up. Nothing's getting done. It's pure, it's like roadblock after roadblock with the $6 trillion. He's not going to get that.
That's not.
I mean, it's just a magic number, and he's hoping to get one. And one's
that was all fluff talk anyway.
Right. But my point is, all these stocks look to be on the right side of the parabola, which is warning Will Robinson.
I agree.
Here's CSIQ. This one again, it's pausing. And it's putting in some time, kind of a sub ceiling, if you will. There's a higher ceiling and the sub ceiling. This is going to be a difficult area for it to get above $50. I just don't see it happening. And then SOL is a smaller one that you brought up. It's a real small ADR I think it's out of Brazil. But again, $632 million market cap. That's why it went parabolic to 35, and now it's back to 9. But again, value is back here at 3. So,
the interesting thing too, Matt, on the article itself, they talked about why this is important, this new research. And when you underperform, because there's a lot of money that goes in to build these things out, and It's built on expectations for efficiency and degradation. Like, how fast is this equipment going to lose the efficiency? And it's more than double what people invested in and thought they were going to get. Right. And so I don't care what business model it is, when you promise one thing and one revenue stream, and you're off by 50% on one metric of it, it's not great going down the line. No. And, I'd be the first one to say, like, living in Southern California back in the mid 80s and not being able to see the San Gabriel snow capped because of the smog. I mean, you got a cheerleader here in environment and clean environments and clean air. And maybe they should spend more time on particulate emissions than CO2. Let's clean the air and the water. I don't know. That's just me talking out loud. I'd like to see the San Gabriel snowcap. In fact, I think I only saw it once in the year that I lived down there. From Santa Monica, you can actually see the snowcap.
You can now. I can tell you, you can now. I mean, it's
so emission controls works, but that's the emissions is on particulate.
Well, you can, but you can tell, like, it's, so it's not as bad as it was. I mean, it's way better. You don't have the smog that you had in the 80s. Believe me, it's not that big of a deal anymore in LA like it was. I mean, there's still some. You probably have more particulate from forest fires there than you do fucking car emissions.
All right, Matt, let's talk a little crypto, because there's a little standard deviation nuance that I want to cover.
Drink
is right. And we're going to where's the producer? Get him in here. All right, Matt, a little crypto after dark. I just want to quickly talk Bitcoin. I saw some interesting dialogues of Bitcoin. It just kills me that every other coin is a scam except Bitcoin. I don't know how anybody gets to that thought process because Bitcoin in and of itself isn't the use case for tons of things that we've talked about on the crypto side of this, which are actually good use cases for crypto, right? Like music rights and distribution, authentication of your vote. We want you to vote. Anyway, I just want to cover the weekly here in Bitcoin. The week is not over, even though it's Friday and most traders, the week is done. Cryptos never sleep, so they're going to trade it Saturday and Sunday. Back to this weekly and the slope and downward slope of this lower momentum level. 2 weeks ago, coming in around 42.5. This week at 40 something. What was it? 44.40. And so if you just, a lot of times I'll do this. I'll just best guess. My best guess is that going to come in Sunday night on the roll somewhere around $38,061. 38. Let's check my math on Monday during the episode and see how close I was. Definitely 38,061 Sunday night, Asian opening for next week. And so the nuance here is if this thing can rally a little bit and close the week back above 38,000, if we're in that pricing area, then next week we're going to open out of lower momentum. It's key. It's key for me in my standard deviation modeling. I will not be hesitant to buy some if we can show that strength and open out of lower momentum. Matt, the average is like 49,000. That's going to drop probably to around 47, 46 and a half. That's the next level that from this modeling, we should go attack. I know you got the nice thing about the profile is that that profile doesn't change much.
No,
especially that longer term profile, and your 42,000 is still going to be 42,000 Sunday night, no matter what the standard deviation modeling does.
Time and price, Bob. Time and price. And time and price are the only thing that matter to a trader, in my opinion. Like I've got a Tom DeMark study on here. I've got a moving average indicator, and I've got market profile. That's really all I use on my charts. Simple momentum indicators on the bottom with average true range and RSI. That's all I use on my charts. I just told you everything about how I trade. It's not that hard.
the complete debut arsenal. I love it.
Well, but my point is anybody can do it. There's nothing special except for doing it and taking the risk and making the trade and then placing the trade. But yeah, nothing's changed unless we get over, above this 42,000 that we've been talking about. It's old as day, and this is we're building a base. So yeah, here's what I will say: the bullish scenario sets up nicely. We've only been in this range now for a month, not even a month. The low was hit on May 19th. Okay, May 18th, 19th. So today's the 11th. It hasn't even been a month. If we could spend 2 or 3 months not breaking this and then we go up, then you have 3 months in time of buyers, right? And you have 3 months in time of sellers who want it to go down and the buyers want it to go up. And when that is resolved and we break above 42, then all those sellers have to cover, right? They're all going to cover. And that will take it up, a solid 12,000. You might get up to that 54,000, which is the next level, right? So this is why it's not going to go to the moon either, because you have all these trapped people from earlier, the last 3 months. You have another layer above, right? So you have trapped above, you have now another layer. And if you go back to the left side here, Bob, you have these same people are trapped from before, right? Anybody that bought in here before, and they didn't sell up here and they're buying here again. Okay, that's why this is so big. That's why.
Let me ask you a question on that. What is the?
I'm just looking at back to December. So this is a 6-month chart, basically.
Right.
And basically, if you can hold 29,000, put in time and get above 42,000. Time has only been 3 weeks now. It'll be more powerful to get you to that next level. But then you're going to run into this group again who are happy to sell again. So
right, exactly.
Don't think we're going to go to 70 tomorrow, because it'll have to take time to work out all that, because all these people they're all trapped. They've lost anybody that bought in the last 3 months, 4 months. And now we've got 2 months of people that are trapped if we break below. Right. So then that becomes another level. And that's why this doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time. It's the battles, as you like to say. These are the key levels. Until then, we're doing nothing but playing ping pong. We're rattling between 30,000 and 42,000, and that's what we're doing.
Right on, baby. Right on. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
We've talked about this before too. There's literally an infinite number of indicators you can put on your chart, between the number of them and then what exact metric is driving that indicator.
Right.
There's an infinite number of iterations to it. So you got to keep it simple.
And
keep it to what makes sense to you.
All of them are backward looking. So they're only so good.
I'm backward looking.
True.
Look at me. I got to tell you, the blue jacket is going back in the closet. I've been brutal today.
Are you
in the blues?
Are you Hopkins? Are you North Carolina? Are you Duke?
No. Check it out, dude.
What are you? What's that blue?
We brought it in talking about anthems and flags, Matt. And this one,
Chicago.
That's the Chicago flag.
Chicago flag.
Chicago.
Back when
I need a nice Italian beef.
Me too.
Give it a bath.
Gosh.
Sweet and hot, mozzarella under the broiler. Woo!
Killing me.
I did a poll not long ago about what's a better sandwich, the Italian beef in Chicago or the Philly cheesesteak. And the Philly cheesesteak schmeezed it on the poll. And I can't be a harder no on that.
But it's the slimy cheese that tastes ridiculously good, but you feel like hell after you eat it. It's like,
dude, I am so against that poll. I wanted to delete the poll because I was so infuriated with the results. Oh no, that's what mainstream media does. Take it back. The Philly cheesesteak's better than the Chicago Italian beef. Fight me over it.
Maybe they're both happy. They can have their Philly and you can have your Chicago.
All right, man. We got the NHL semi starting. The Montreal Canadiens got to travel to Vegas. Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to put them under lock and key in their hotel rooms? Think about if you were a professional athlete, the peak of your physical being, right? And you're stuck in Montreal in your house for months and months and months on end. And now they send you to Vegas
for a year and a half.
Like, are you sitting in your hotel room? I can't even imagine the dilemma these guys are going to have.
I mean, the bookies and they'll be watching them.
Here's my
a lot of distractions in Vegas for the.
A lot of distractions in Vegas. A lot of bottle service, among other things. So, like that first game, if I was the Montreal ownership, I would fly them in the day of the game. Game one.
Well, because they're such freaks in Canada, they probably will.
Fly them in the day of the game, right to the arena. I'm sorry if you got cramps in your legs from sitting.
No, matter of fact, they're going to have their skates on the plane, and they got to walk off.
And by the way, how long is that flight? Montreal to Vegas. That's got to be a 5-hour flight.
It's an easy cross country. It's probably 6 because it's up a little further north.
Anyway. All right, Matt, you have a great weekend. Please visit us at marketvitals.io. Please share and retweet the broadcast. Matt, risk and reward, that's the whole thing. Price is the only thing that matters, which makes trading a beautiful thing. You can't.
And by the way,
there's no fudge factor on
it. The SPOOs this week have been 42 points wide, which is 1%. That's the entire range. Folks, it doesn't get much snoozier than we're at all-time highs. It's not really.
Actually, Matt, let's just talk about the SPOOs for a second, because
we're at all-time highs.
All-time highs, but let's just talk indexes in particular, because when I look at
the Russell and the Dow, the SPOOs and the Dow have made all-time highs continuously, and the Russell and the NASDAQ are lagging still. They have not, in this run, they have not breached their recent highs that we had in the last couple months. So
I think for me, the most compelling chart is the Dow, because it's putting in a terrible candle here. And it's going to close out. It looks like it wants to close out of up momentum on the weekly and close on its ass. So if it doesn't get a rally, it's, later today, if this thing closes on its ass, it's a terrible, terrible candle in the Dow in particular. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing.
Value on the 610, which again is a 6-month chart, takes us back to 30,000. You go back a little bit further.
Bring it up. Let's leave on the Dow. We don't cover it that often.
We go back to the. Let's just look at the daily again. From the depths of COVID malarkey at 18,000, we've doubled almost to 35. And you look at that, Bob. You go, oh, it's bullish. It's the unlimited spool fishing line again, which is what we see intraday most of the time. And when the SPOOs trend, this is how every day looks in the SPOOs basically. And a shorter term chart. So that took us to 25,000 it was the value area. If you look at this is a 3-month chart, Bob, you're looking at value around 34,000. But again, we've just been locked. I mean, so here's a good picture. Here's where you can see kind of the story that I'm lamenting about is we're not going anywhere. Yeah, we've made all-time highs again, but that on the Dow, that was back May 10th. We didn't do it again. So the Dow, the Russell, and let me just do the Russell too, because this is a good little juncture, because only the SPOOs are making new highs here. The Russell did not. Okay. As a matter of fact, you can't see it here. I got to pull back even further. They made their high here at 2368 back in March. So we're looking at March. We're looking at a full quarter there that we have not made a new high. And again, that bracket is clear as day. It's the same bracket we've been talking about. So it's a broken record trading right now. And don't overthink it, because this is where we are. And then the NASDAQ, same thing. We made that high probably around that same period. 14,083, and that was again in April. They're not all coinciding, and we're at 13.9. It's red again. We're right there. We're banging up against it, but nothing's blowing out. And then in what have I forgotten? And then we'll go back to the SPOOs, which are making all-time highs. We made them here. We got up to 42.49 this week, so that's your new high. 42. It's hard to do.
Now we're rolling to SEP, and just a tiny bit of nuance, Matt, is the forward pricing is lower. People are hesitant about saying that all-time highs are going to be just the continuation or continual thing for the rest of the summer into SEP.
But again, here's this whole week, except for that little bump up, and now we're selling off into the close. So it was this is why the weekend is so important. If we closed over 42.50 or at 42.50, that's bullish. We're not going to do it, it looks like, unless we get there in the last 3 hours and change. So again, this is not when you look at the other three and this combined, Bob, not bullish to me at all. Not bearish either, but warning signs. Don't be cheap. There's no momentum in this market right now. So if you were wearing the momentum hat before, you shouldn't be now, because it's not a momentum market. It's totally different. It's matter of fact, you've seen this almost every day this week. The SPOs have opened almost at their high and they've sold off every day. And we're doing it again today. And they're not really going higher. They just, we ticked up to 48, 49 this morning, and we sold off again. So again, this is to me a warning sign that momentum is waning, and that momentum wanes and then the price follows, right? And we're just not quite to the spot where we're going to get that whoosh. I still feel like the June swoon could come. Nothing serious, maybe up to a 10% pullback, which would be nice. Then we can get some volatility going again. And then we have earnings in July, which should be favorable again, I would suspect. Now, are they what everybody expects in the analyst world? That's what we wait for in the price discovery. So that's the tricky part about earnings, right? You're excited about them, but how does the market react is the only thing that matters to the actual earnings, Bob.
Whoa. All right, Matt, that's all we got. That's all we got time. You have a great weekend. Everybody's working for the weekend, so please enjoy yourself. Please enjoy yourself over the weekend, because that's what you do. And as we leave, Matt, I just want to, I'm going to bring it back here. Hold on a second. I want to bring a little music, and I want to share the map of spirituality again. And I want to encourage people to try to get up to that courage level, Matt. Courage and optimism. Those would be two great places to start this weekend. Courage and optimism. Let's levitate to there. And, I really encourage CNN to start moving towards that level too. Right?
I encourage them to keep doing what they're doing and go out of business. I'm fine with that.
Anyway, by the way,
there is a business opportunity for the news relator who is willing to go with optimistic courage, but that's a whole other.
You know what? I remember seeing a story about a company that started, and it was called The Good News, and all they did was share good news, and they went out of business because the truth has a hard time finding advertisers, and so does the good news. The good news. You don't sell shit when people are nice and content and happy. Let's keep them afraid and shamed.
I guess not, Bob. Jeez.
Anyway, you have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, Monday. Please visit us at marketvitals.io. Marketvitals.io. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Bob. Have a great one.